you all doing? Sorry, this is the first of two different Mandalorian panels we have. This one we have multiple Mandalorians, and then oh my God, what species is that? He's not even listening to me. That's impressive. Anyway, so everyone along from the Mandalorian covert, we have Mr. Daniel Romero. And his red and gold helmet he brought with him. Please tell me, is that the one on stage? Is that the one from the set? Yeah, bought this on your own. Who actually brings their own helmet? And Mr. Rory Ross, who's also brought his own helmet. Oh my God, they all.
Yeah. Good now.
And also accompanied by her helmet, Miss Lisa Gabe. Sans helmet, but he does have a white hoodie. Mr. Paul Darnell walking across a baby's carriage. There you go. He doesn't have a helmet, but I don't have the guts to tell him. Mr. Tait Fletcher, the heavy Mandalorian.
Yeah.
How you all doing today?
Great. I've been a solid day.
Do we have the mics turn go to 0 to plus? You got to turn the mics on before the celebrities come out, right? You got to the mic. Got it. And what we'll do is we'll share them around.
Nailed it. It's been solid. It's been a lot of fun.
You guys having a good time? Well, we can pass the mic. Well, you got a pretty loud voice, and
I'm not quite Tate, so I need the mic.
Okay. That's why we're called the children.
What? The children.
Children.
Now, do you guys have any scenes where all of you are together? Or close to me, even if it's edited together. But I mean, maybe you guys have an act on the set together. But are there? I guess the fighting scene at the end of season 1. Are you guys all in that? I know you are, Tate.
Not with Paul. Yeah, there's quite a bit of stuff.
Like on the beach. That's a good one. On the beach when when
Ragnar gets rescued, we're all in that. I think
that's the first one I was talking about. Yeah.
I think most of the stuff we got to work on was with Tate.
Right.
Tate, Emily, Brendan, and Katie. I never really got to work with Paul. It's unfortunate, but I got to work with his other double quite a bit. So it was cool to see the other side of the twins, because him and Lisa share like a set of armor or style armor. Mm-hmm. So I got to have the other side of that.
Why don't we talk about the rescue at the end of season 1? That's a great scene when the Mando is being confronted by Grief Karga and all his people. If you guys recall, when he refused to return Grogu, or at that time the child, back to the Imperials. So all of the Mandalorians came flying out. Were you guys all part of that?
That was season 1. So we're season 3.
You're season 3.
Yeah. Well, except Tate. Yeah,
Tate's the only one. So you were in that. I misunderstood you. That's what. What's that?
It's like episode 3. Yes.
This question's not going very well. I'll just go to another one. Okay, how about the one by the beach? You guys were all on the one by the beach where they had the little kids and you guys were doing the baptizing thing? How about that? Were you all there for that?
Yeah.
Okay, what was that like?
It was
hot. It was hot?
Because so for those that don't know, we basically kind of film on 2 different things. So there's the volume, and that's where you have the screens and almost like a 360 view, and you can digitally add assets onto that. You can extend sets, but then also we have the backlot, and the backlot means you're actually outside in the environment and the elements. And so California only has really 1 season, and that's just hot. So that's what happens usually there.
Yeah, it was like a lagoon. So was that actually there? Or did you guys?
The guys that build those sets are incredible, and so they bring in heavy duty plastic as the base of it, fill it with water.
Paul, can you head in that mic? Paul, can you head? Because we're recording this too, so we want to, for prosperity.
God bless. I hope you guys get my voice.
Well, the idea is that if you guys say anything that gives out any secrets, I get to blackmail you all at Lucasfilm.
I feel like it's all already been expressed. I don't think there's secrets anymore. If there's spoilers for you guys are late. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, the Craftsman there, it's like they transform this lot. The back lot is like a bunch of train cars that are piled up like 8 high in a circle so that nobody can see you. And then they build universes inside there. And that's where everything is filmed outdoors, like for Boba Fett and for Mando and all that. And really incredible. Build mountains and caves. And
all styrofoam, the big sets too, like the cave and you go through is just massive blocks of styrofoam carved and then painted to look like rocks and stuff. And so you forget. So if you step on, it's like... to touch up, need to touch up here. But yeah, so that's the thing. Like you can see how they build those massive sets, but then they did build that pool of water there too. That was
So in that scene with the pool of water, it looks like there was about 35, 40 Mandalorians. Were there actually that many?
Oh yeah.
There were little ones. I mean,
They were the kids,
little
right?
babies. To walk out that morning with, because there's just like 3 of us. And then that was the first time that I saw, and there's like a whole community of Mandos, and that was dope. I mean, for me to walk on set and see that, it was incredible. Stunt coordinator JJ Dash and I had his 2 little ones there and his wife, which was awesome. And so everybody kind of got to play. It was a really cool thing.
Who did they get to fill all the parts? Were they just family members? Were they actually
No, I mean,
five
there's
first
like
people?
other stunt people, and it was all a bunch of performers.
Oh, okay, so it was just.
JJ's kids, I mean, they're performers also.
And what stood in for the monster, or was that just your imagination? Did they have any kind of crane?
They had a giant turtle.
a giant like.
Yeah, Bill Gates made it after he bought all the farmland and stole all our food, and then he also was making monsters. Is that too topical? I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, it was an actual turtle. It was a prehistoric turtle.
Okay. So let
And
me
then, yeah, it was amazing. Yeah, Ox, I think, there's a guy named Ox that was doing the rigging on that, and he'd pull guys, so to make guys fly and stuff, there's different ways that we accelerate them. And Ox was on like a 20-step ladder, and he's 350 pounds, and a big Samoan guy, and he walked all the way up to I don't know if you ever tried to step on the top of a step ladder like that. It's terrifying. And that was the craziest stunt I think that happened all season, and he did that over and over again, sending guys over that turtle to tie it up and all that. It was badass. It was really, really cool. It was a cool scene to film.
That's a good question. Did any of you guys get to jetpack? Any of you guys get to do any jetpacking?
A war jetpack.
That doesn't count.
About it.
He is a jetpack.
The trailer is that you, Paul? The actual trailer of the guy taking off. That's you. Yeah.
The GoPro footage sort of style. That's pretty dope.
That was.
Speaking of GoPro, you've got a photo op in a couple of minutes, right? And you got your man over here.
He's right there. Okay.
You made sure they delayed it, so
He's fine. We're good. We're good.
he was going to have us interrupt the panel so he can go out and get a photo op, and he's going to come back. But
I'm sorry.
not-
Interrupt. We're fine.
What did you give me?
Interrupt.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Actually, yeah. Interrupt.
Do you guys have any questions?
Because he doesn't like mine.
I'm just trying to keep it moving for you.
Yeah, I don't know.
You seem to
it was
get
a funny
hung
thing. I want to ask you guys, do you guys have a favorite Star Wars character, but you can't pick a Mandalorian? I think half you guys would probably pick Boba Fett just out of respect, but or Din Djarin. But do you guys have a favorite Star Wars character that's not a Mandalorian?
Chewbacca.
Chewbacca down on the end? All right. Paul?
I like the character I played in Ahsoka. I like Mysterious Barak.
Okay. He was a cool character.
Yeah.
And I think that's you didn't break the rules. I didn't say not your character you play, but all right. That's not a Mandalorian. He got you. Lisa, do you have a favorite non-Mandalorian Star Wars character?
I really liked seeing the child.
You like Grogu. Grogu's extremely. If you look in that room, there's a couple thousand different Grogus for sale, from magnets to giant statues. Rory, you and I in New Hampshire earlier this year had a throwdown Star Wars trivia contest, so I know he is good.
Should I answer first? Because I feel like yours.
Sure, go for it. Go for it.
Oh, because this is going to be like some.
I was gonna say
long,
it
might be a little
some
bit
long
longer.
speech.
Well, no, not only that, just because I'm gonna give an answer and then Rory's gonna give the full story, and I can't follow the story.
Oh, there's a story. Great.
I'm sure
Wanna
there
hear it.
is. That's Rory though. He tells stories.
All right, so Daniel, who's your favorite non-Mandalorian character?
Sorry, take it from you. I had this question at Prop Stop a few weeks ago. It's Anakin Skywalker. Back then when it was not cool to like Anakin Skywalker, I remember, being made fun of in high school, in grade school for liking Anakin Skywalker, and just seeing the story from what it was in episode 1 up to episode 3, and even having like the Party City costume where it was just the mask with the string on the back. And then you would open the lightsaber. It's a flashlight with like a small little tube that if you swung it, it bent in half because the wind. And yeah, that's my answer.
It was worse in the 70s, man. It was like we had to wear like an apron with a picture of Darth Vader on. I was terrible. Ours were horrible. Our Star Wars costumes back then. But all right, Rory, Mr. Very High IQ Star Wars trivia guy.
Well, mine. You kind of have to go to a farm far, far away. I grew up in a small town in Iowa, And while I was there, I basically went through this really traumatic event where my scalp was literally falling apart. And so it put me in the Iowa City Children's Hospital for about a month and went through all these different procedures and things like this. But the first day I was there, my mom brought Star Wars A New Hope. And so seeing Luke and his journey and being able to resonate with him being on the farm, and then just his journey of overcoming these insurmountable obstacles, because at the time, we didn't know if it was cancer. We didn't know if it was, some kind of, death-defying thing that's about to happen. We just didn't know. And so basically every day, for the most part, while I was there in the hospital, I just put it on. And so for me, I would also love to meet Mark Hamill and say thank you, because it was Luke who really who gave me the hope and inspiration that I was going to be okay. And so forever, it will always be Luke Skywalker.
All right, Kyle, have you had a chance to meet Mark yet?
I have not. I'd probably be crying. I'd probably be like just a puddle of mess, like the witch from Wizard of Oz, like, I'm melting. Tears of joy, though.
Okay. Now remember, Tate would like to hear your questions if you guys have any. So, do we have a separate mic? Here, what we'll do? Can I borrow your mic? Can I borrow your mic? Can you do this or run? Or let's give it to Kentucky. I want to see Kentucky run around. If you guys don't know, Kentucky's like my boss.
About to run today.
Jane knows it.
So we got a question way in the back. Run, Kentucky, run.
Hold. Were you able to influence some of the design on some of the characters, or not the characters, but the armor? Were you able to influence and kind of put your own styling to it when it was being developed, or was it just here, wear this, be who I told you to be?
For me, I didn't know what show I was in even, and so the way it started for me was to go out to Legacy Effects and start getting measured for a show that I didn't know what I was going to do nor what I was going to wear, neither did the creators probably very much. I bet they had concept drawings, but I think that stuff changes as it evolves, just like as scenes in film do. It's like they leave room for the magic and utility of what might happen. And so it was kind of a work in progress until the day we exposed it to all the nerds at Disney that were like, this is our new toy.
Okay, we have a look at this.
Oh, I was
Other
going
side of the
to
room
add a
is
little
great.
something to that, is that for the most part,
I'll tell the jokes here, okay, pal?
but for the most part, for the Mandos, for us, we didn't get to necessarily have a big influence on that, but we did on the characters themselves. So we were kind of able to put on our own persona. So for me, especially Mandalorian, I had this sort of point of view about Bo, and I was like, I ain't messing with you. Like, you are a sinner. Like, you are the bad. But then as soon as the armor said, oh, she is now cleansed, I'm like, hey, what's up? Oh, thank you so much. You're so awesome. I'm right here with you. And so you'll see that kind of I remember when we were doing that inside the cave or whatever, and they had me just kind of stand there with her the whole time, and I was just patting her on the back like, oh, yeah, you're one of us now. This is all good. But then as soon as her helmet came back off, I was like, excuse me? And then also on Kenobi, I got to play a Melito. And if I remember correctly, in Force Awakens, you don't really see it too much. And so on Kenobi, we actually were given permission to create the mannerisms of the Melito. So it was me and Greg Kufera, and we got to kind of create this sort of persona and also how it moved. And so they, from my knowledge, they actually were passing that down to the next people that were playing a Melito.
Cool. All right, cool. Get the Joker back there.
I just want to say thank you guys for taking time away from your families and your loved ones to come out and spend time with the fans. It really means a lot. It's great to see you guys. My question is, so much is expected of you as entertainers to give and to perform. What do you guys do to give to yourselves to maintain your mental? How do you guys stay centered out there? If that's okay.
That's pretty deep.
Well, it's interesting because I'm working with Tate, and we were on a job together and thinking about what we do before we come in. You don't know, we just see each other at work. We do our job. And you say, so what do you do to maintain? So I don't know. I like talking to Tate a lot about his routines and what he does to get his mindset. And I always think of him as the ice bath guy. And when we were working, it was so cold outside. And he was like, oh, no, I take an ice bath every day. And I'm like, yeah, right, man. Come on, are you serious? But he would. He would show me the photos of doing that. But it inspired me also to think more about that as preparing for the job, to wake up a little bit early, not extra, but a little bit earlier, to either stretch, make sure I have enough time to eat all the food that I want to, and don't worry about trying to grab some on the run. And And so that's a big thing about the health aspect that I was talking about. But for the family, that's a huge one for me. I have 3 kids that I have at home, 10, 8, and 7. So to me, they're my world, and I want to be there for them during this time before they get too old. They're almost there on the brink to be teenagers where dad and mom aren't cool anymore. So, but my whole thing too is also my body's my tool. A lot of the jobs I get is through my performance. And so it's very important to make the time to do ice baths, or do things that heal your body as well. So that's a big thing for me as well, that world.
Wow, that's a great answer. What do you have any more questions from the audience?
Quickly, doesn't have to be detailed. Run me through a day on the set of The Mandalorian. What time do you start? When do you finish? Just quick in and out. It can't be the same for all of you. I'm sure
If
Lisa
you
has
can
a
spend
totally
8
different
hours
changing
each
room.
describing an entire day on the set. No, just briefly. What do you get there? There's a roll call. You put on a costume. Lisa, what do you got?
So I'm the only one on this panel that starts with braids. So I go to the hair trailer and I get my hair braided so I can put the helmet on. Everybody else.
That's it. Oh, I wanted to go.
I don't do any of that.
Well, I like to get it set as early as I can because I like going to Crafty and then eating a lot right before we get on set. Then I go to my box, and our box has kind of our names with it.
Excuse me. So what's a box?
Our crate with all our armor. The box has all our armor in it.
So your wardrobe was put in a specific box.
Yeah,
and you go to it in
everybody
the
had a
morning. Okay.
specific box, it's section that they had for their specific armor that was accounted for every night that we finished, just to make sure it's all there, and it was all there. But I'd get dressed, and then Rory was next to me. You were next to me, right? Yeah. Then I'd help Rory get dressed because he'd be like, I can't get the back because there's a zipper on the back.
Right.
So it just became a friendship of zip, clip, and then all right, zip, clip, and then eventually the costume, the wardrobe would come by and be like, you guys are ready already? It's like, listen, man, we're just as excited to be here. So we're ready to go and, let's get going. And then you're on set, and I, just lived a dream just being on set in Star Wars, and got to hang out with some great friends and made some great friends. Got to hang out with Tait. I remember the first time I saw Tait, I was like, man, this guy's massive. It's huge. And I remember you were sitting on a box in the shade, and I was like, man, that suit must be heavy. And I think I talked to you for a bit just about, the armor. He's like, yeah, man, doing good, but it's going good, and it was a good time. So as much as I can, just hang out and just talk about Star Wars with other people who are on set.
Are there a lot of Star Wars fans among
everybody? The whole set. I mean, whether it's the carpenters or the camera operators, there's not anybody that hasn't been touched by Star Wars in the last 50 years. It's just what it is, and I think it's phenomenal in that way. This kind of living mythology that we get to participate and perform in, and what's meant so much to so many generations. I don't know. Yeah, I forgot about the styrofoam part, like that, like trying to find a place to lean because I couldn't articulate to sit down actually, so I just lean on things, and all those walls look sturdier than they are, so I'm crushing styrofoam. I was like, okay, and you hear the noise. I don't know what's happening until I feel it give, and but every day is different. You're up to different things every day. A lot of the days that I started were real special to me because of the attention that Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau put into it, and they're there, I don't know, 8 mornings out of 10, telling you what they'd written and why and where they think it ought to go, and then handing it over and saying explore that, to the performers that are there that day and to the director and all that. And it was a phenomenal experience to be a part of. It's like for me, it was like being in a master class every day of not just performance, but like the setup. Everybody there is at the top of their game. It's like you're just dealing with excellence. There's nobody there by accident,
Now, I know days are different. Some are long, some are short. But on average, is it like an 8-10 hour day, or is it much longer?
14.
He's like, oh God.
Yeah, so kind of to give you even like a more background, like I would say sometimes our call time is like 4 a.m. And so we're filming in Manhattan Beach studios, which if you know LA traffic and like that, it might say 30 minutes, but it's usually like maybe an hour depending on how many cars and everything else is going on. And so like myself and Daniel, we both live in the Valley. The Valley is like, it feels like it's a galaxy in itself, like far, far away. And so when you're, but it's one freeway, but once that's clogged in any area, then all of a sudden you have this whole bottleneck. And so you get down there 4 a.m., then you're going ahead. It's what we sing on set. It's like hurry up and wait. So you get down there early. You're making sure you're all ready. We give each other a little back massage. You didn't say that, but that's okay. And get all ready, get set up. You get breakfast, and then you might be waiting for, an hour or two, depending on what the setup is. And then you have, for some of us, we have the jetpacks on, and those jetpacks have weight. So you're actually get a nice little back workout. I was probably the most fit I've ever been wearing all that stuff. So I looked pretty yoked. My girlfriend was happy about that. But I know not everyone got that treat. That's okay. But in general, like you're in the suit. You're making sure that you're trying not to be a nuisance in the sense of like you're ready to go, because you never know when it's going to be like, hey, get on set. But I would say, especially on Mando, I would say it was usually about a 12-hour day, like give or take, because you're with all the whole process, and then you have to do it all over again in terms of getting it off. And when we did the night shoots for the night scene, that was rough, because then you're starting kind of like, I would say the call time was maybe like 7 p.m. or something like that. So you're dealing with evening traffic, and then you have to leave in the morning at like 5 a.m., 6 a.m., whatever it was. And now you're dealing with like the stop and go. So you're like, I'm going to get home. Oh, no, stop. And then by the end of it, you're just really exhausted. But anybody who's seen those scenes, when Bo's making the plea to go back to Mandalore, it's freaking awesome.
That's cool. Take it. That was a great answer. Great question. Excuse me. The guy in the blue shirt.
Yes. It's pretty well known that the different directors to kind of rotated around throughout the season. For each of you, which was the favorite director that you worked under, and maybe some comments why?
I'm gonna amend that slightly. How about just an honorable mention? Not necessarily your favorite, because if they all say Bryce, then everywhere else they all say Carl. Everyone else is going to get upset. So why don't we just say an honorable mention?
No. I don't care.
I'll throw one out. Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Who's your favorite?
Oh, I couldn't say because I don't know anything about I'm not an actor. I don't know anything. But I'll just say Bryce, because I think she's cool. I loved her in Jurassic Park, and I've known her father my whole life, basically. So what was Bryce like?
She's great. She's a consummate professional. She's the princess of Hollywood, right? She's phenomenal human, great mother.
But does she yell at you guys?
Not ever. She doesn't lead that way. There are those. There's screamers for sure, but not really on a Favreau set. Favreau's like, it's like, you're cool or you're not asked to come back. Like, if you're not going to be cordial and gracious, it's like, it's too long a day. Nobody wants to suffer that, And I worked for him on Avengers years earlier, and it was like that. It was like there's nobody that was cross, that was crass, that was mean. It just wasn't acceptable. So he really sets a tone for how everybody else behaves, I think, in a way, or he sets a team in that way. And Bryce, of course, I mean, Bryce isn't the kind of person you want to even cuss around. It's like, there's some people that make you sit up straighter, right? And I think everybody, and especially with the fans too, with everything, it's like it became such a work of love that people wanted to be excellent. It's like, I know when I got this job, it was like, you better not mess this up. Like, you better carry this well, because there's a level of consequence. There's a lot of movies I do that don't matter at all. I mean, it's like, it's whatever, right? It's filler, but like, this is a different thing. It was a different animal. Rick Fukuyama, I think, was tremendous, man. He was just beautiful to work with, and very calm. He also led a great set, like, and it's that leadership. I got to mention J.J. Dashnoff, who was the stunt coordinator. He and Natalie Padilla ran most of the action on those shows, and I'd seen him direct as a second unit director, perform, and then choreograph and work with about 8 other fights that were happening simultaneously. I'd seen a lot of people do that stuff singularly well, but I'd never seen anybody do all 3 of those things at the same time and kill it. I walk through the room, and the level of skill that is there is I'm just like, how did I get in this room? Like, it's phenomenal. And the directors were like that too. Everybody, an honorable mention I would give is to Carl Weather, who's an icon and a legend, and be sorely missed. And it's weird to even think that he's gone, but what he's left is so much. He's a real, what a legacy, and what a thing, and when I say that, it's like, he was the first guy in the room in a lot of ways, as an athlete, as a black man, and then to rise up to where he did at these levels as a professional athlete and to transition into film and into the level of esteem that he had amongst his colleagues, like that was never done before. That's not how people were allowed to behave. And so I have a lot of respect and regard for him and a lot of gratitude. And I don't know, I feel like that about everybody in that way, you know, and yeah, that's.
All right. Other questions from the audience?
I was going to ask if merchandise is made with your likeness or your character's likeness, do you receive it? And if you don't, what's a keepsake you took from set?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
If I had the camera turned off, would one of you guys actually answer that?
Well, that's the thing, you know, you're on set and you're being watched by everyone for that too. And so, yeah, no, you're always tempted too. Like if you have a character through there and you want to just take a little piece to honor that, to keep that with you as a memento. But no, I respect the rules. I'm there and they get it all back because it's on displays and they use it for so much. So it's hard to sneak anything. I don't know if Tait probably could sneak some stuff. I can see Tait me in there, you know, something's butt out. No, and then we do the photo shoots when you're in your costumes, and they have all that, but then they maintain all the rights for that as well.
I took some of the earth of Mandalore that was when it was glassed over. There's a 5-gallon bucket of pieces after they'd made the set, and so I took a couple pieces and built Legos on top of it. Right, so
little Mandalorian Lego pieces. Oh, you could sell that on eBay for a ton, I bet. You got another question in the back? Is that a Han Solo cosplay? Oh, very nice.
Not exactly, but so for those of you that were involved during the rock climb to get up to the nest, what was that process like trying to move around on like a flat surface in that armor?
So we did that. Yeah, they built a big old wall, half of it styrofoam, but a lot of wood on that, and they placed certain handholds, like rock climbing handholds, to climb on. But the hardest thing too is not just the weight and the mobility in your suit, but the gloves you have to wear to get the right feel of grabbing onto the rocks. So that was the sketchiest part through there. But to make it safe, we had lines, and then one of my favorite parts on there is able to use your grappling hook to shoot it above and then just wind up and do a big old swing around there and just fly to the other side of the rock. But it was legit rock climbing, and you were getting burned out from doing that as well. But they made it super safe. We had mats all below. You're on lines just in case as we got higher up. But it wears you out because that's a full day of climbing. So yes, you have to. And you're in the sun on the back lot that Tait talked about as well. We're just getting beat down. But it's one of those things that you have to watch out because this is gonna be so fun. I'm gonna climb the wall. Let's race to the top. You go, I beat you. All right, let's take one. All right. At the end of the day, 100 takes later, yeah, you can do it. You know. So you have to really you get so excited about it, but then you also have to realize that you are working and you have to be able to do it all day long, too.
To add to
that's
that,
why there's guys like Diddy is like a lot of people could do a backflip or whatever. But can you do it repeatably 30 or 40 times in a row and make it look like it's the first time, right? It's like, that's why the level of athleticism that is out there is amazing. I wasn't on that wall. Paz was. Jeremy Fitzgerald carried that weight and did that. And I can't imagine. It must have been, he had a full day. He had a full day.
The one thing I was going to say kind of on Paul's note is that when we do something, you have to do that multiple times. So on like Book of Boba Fett, we were to chase Boba during the night as Tusken Raiders. If anyone has put on a Tusken Raider mask, you have a very small tunnel vision and no peripheral vision. And so this was like one of my first or second days on set, and I was like, I want to show how fast I can go. And so Joanna Bennett, who's an amazing stunt actress and has so many accolades, I made it a mission to go as fast or faster than her. And she looked at me after the first one. She's like, how does that feel? I was like, good, yeah. And she's like, you ready to do that 16 times? I was like, oh.
That's her way of saying, hey, dummy. Hey, new guy, slow it down. Just give yourself a favor.
That's really cool. You get to be a Mandalorian and a Tusken Raider. Are any of you guys also Tusken Raiders?
Yeah.
That's got to be, because they're so cool.
you're looking like through 2 toilet paper rolls up. And so I can't see you, I can't see you. So when you have to do those running scenes, he's talking about too, you're running and all of a sudden you hit somebody. You're like, what? Oh, sorry. And you keep going. The sketchiest one for me was jumping from speeder bike to speeder bike, because then you have this. Tim was sitting on the speeder bike and trained Tuscan Raiders to ride and all this stuff. And so then we had to scene one to the other, but it's so sketchy because you can't see. You look, okay, that's my landing. I look up and you have to jump and just hope you gauged it right and you grab on and not knock the actor off.
This is a movement specialist where he says that's the sketchy part. The sketchy part is doing it at all. Now he's doing it blind, just to put it in perspective.
And that's the real reason why Tuscan Raiders walk in a line, so they can actually see each other.
That's a good one, Rory. I like that. Have any of you got a chance to ride a bantha?
Kinda.
Just recreation.
Well, not a real bantha, Rory.
You did have.
I mean, is there, because there's a couple scenes where you got, or some of you are on the back of one. Any of you got a chance to do that? You did?
Yeah.
What was that like?
We're doing a scene with the bantha, and on through there is when it was when we were dragging Tim through. Free just got captured, and he was being drugged behind one, and it was cool. That was cool because it's a bantha. You're on it, and it's a hairy little beast. Someone's inside, moving the mouth as well, and you're high up too. But no, that was just a fun ride, I guess you could say.
Like a bantha. Cool.
Like a bantha. Yeah. Any other questions here? You got the Joker's got another question. Oh, right there.
So for Tait, didn't you take over the character from Favreau?
I started off with it.
Yeah, so were you on it all 3 seasons? They were saying third season only, but yeah, from the start.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people ask that, but like you're performing it all the way through. I don't know what happens in editing. That's where a lot of things happen that you don't know. But like all the performances are.
It was always you. Okay, that was the confusion. I thought they had said he was in the suit. Like
that's
first
hilarious.
Only.
Yeah. No offense,
Tait. I don't know if you've ever seen his visage, but okay. at any rate,
Tait, how did you find out?
Oh yeah, I found out that he voiced that first bit. I walked down the bathroom. I was with my mom at the premiere, and afterwards I was like, oh, and so I walked down and I see him and he looks sheepish. He's like, so how did you like playing my body? And he's like, we couldn't have your voice because you were the first character in it. And I'm just happy to be at the party, John. Thank you. Yeah,
that is true. You're the first human that we see. Non-masked character in the Mando, because first it's a couple droids, it's a couple aliens.
Yeah,
and
that's how I got in. I auditioned for that part, and then they called me and they said, well, Favreau, and I didn't know what I was auditioning for, and Favreau, they said Favreau saw your audition, he wants you to play this other character. So I just figured that I lost that character and I'm going to play this other character, but ended up being able to do both, which was dope.
Now I know you're the first human we see, but are you the first person that speaks in the series?
Yeah, and then I fight Mando, the first guy that I don't know. He kills Dimitri, who plays Darth Vader, also in Obi-Wan, I believe. He was the guy with all the hoses out of his face, right? That he kills in that scene also. And then Ryan was the stunt coordinator on that first season, who was also in that scene with me.
I think the guy from the audience, he wanted to hear you say the line.
What's that?
When you go Mando. When you scream at Mandalorian, you call him Mando.
Yeah.
There's an alien.
Yeah, it was in.
Oh no, it was Huttese.
It was in Huttese, and it was a guy that had made up that language that worked for Lucasfilms for the last 20 years, and he was a linguist, and I got to work with him beforehand, and that was dope. I mean, the whole that whole scene, to do that and set it up and to be there that day. There's the first time I saw the volume. We're on an ice planet, and so we're inside this little bar, and they line up the ice, and it's like it feels like it gets colder in there. It's like, it's crazy how real. It's like being inside a video game with your friends. You know what I mean? And you're interacting with. It was wild. Yeah. We have another question?
I have a quick question. So we know there's going to be a Mandalorian and Grogu movie. Have y'all got any talks about being in it, or are you even allowed to?
And here comes the
Paul
lawsuits.
can tell you all about
it. Yes, they're shooting a movie, and
there you go.
They're doing it. I don't know. I guess yeah.
I'm not gonna say who. I've asked a couple people this weekend. They're like, I can't say anything, which is, you might as well just say yes, if you're going to say, I can't say anything,
Oh yeah, I'm working on the movie, but there's a shooting movie. I'm working on the movie.
Next year you'll see him.
We'll see. Yeah, see a movie. Yeah, that's like what I got.
I think we have time for one last question in the back there.
I was actually just wondering if they have a working title like Red Cup or Huckleberry.
Not that I'm aware of yet. No, they always. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, Red Cup. That was clever for solo. Red Cup, solo Red Cup. But do we? Okay, that was a quick question. Do we have time for one more question? Right here in the front. This was going to be our last one.
After you've watched the final product, is there a moment that you saw it and went, I did that and that was my favorite thing and it looks so good?
Oh, I love this. One of my favorite scenes was with Tait, and Rory, you too, but it was with Tait. It's when we're in the cave on the volume, and you're giving us the whole speech to go to Navarro. And I remember sitting there and looking with all the Mandalorians, all the coverts. And Lisa was there. Yeah, you were there. Yeah, you were there. You were by the child. Yeah. And I just remember sitting there and like really taking it in. Like I am in this scene, and I have Paz Vizsla recruiting me to go to Navarro. And I remember just the power that Tait's speech really gave. And it was such a fun scene for me to do. And when I saw it, it was my favorite scene. And I'm right next to Rory, and I remember we were sitting on the rock. And I remember sitting on the rock with my leg up, like, all right, whatever, just kind of giving that vibe. And the more he gets into his speech, the more I start, all right, this guy's got a point. And then, you get up and we're all, this is the way, and we're ready to go. And it's like, man, that was such a fun scene to do.
Have all of you had a chance to say that line? Whether in a group of people or just singularly? You've all had a chance to say this is the way? Lisa?
We said it in that.
Yeah, at the finale. Yeah, in the finale, we all screamed it. Yeah, what he said. Yeah.
All right, so I hope you don't mind me saying this. So the last panel I did today, I got the 98th Star Wars actor I have interviewed. So I always count it like this. So you would be my 99th. And Rory, you are my 100th.
I'm the centennial.
You are the centennial actor, and you're the 101st, second, and third. So it's a pretty memorial thing for me. I'm just really happy that I've made 100 actors. So I want to thank you. But so I'll let you decide how we're going to give away this Mandalorian Din Djarin action figure. So you can find some in the audience. You want to throw it to somebody or grab a kid or whatever like that.
You can do a trivia question as well.
Or he's such a big Star Wars fan, he might keep it. It's up to you.
I mean, actually, I was looking at that earlier.
Yeah, Mitch.
You want to ask them a trivia question. Whoever can answer gets it. That's a good idea.
So we got wrong at trivia night.
The one we had in New Haven or New Hampshire.
I can't remember the actual name of that.
There's a lot of great questions. I don't know. Man, on the spot here.
Yeah.
Let's see. Are you guys really big Star Wars fans? Like how deep in the trivia? I was like, how deep in the trivia trove should I try to go here? Yeah, just a heads up thing. Let me see.
Don't shout out the answer. Raise your hand and we'll call on you.
You lose it.
I know. There's just like so many questions that come to my mind. I'm like trying to think of one that is like a really good one.
You already ready to answer?
The little guy.
All right, kid. If you don't come up with one in 3 seconds, you're getting it for free.
All right, buddy. I'll tell you what. What is my character name in Mandalorian Season 3?
Character has an
8. Or what does a pauldron signify in Star Wars? Is that helpful?
I'll find out the answer to that one.
Shoulder blade.
But what is the rank? What is the rank? I'll do this. I'll do a multiple choice. Sergeant, commander, or captain?
Commander.
Yeah! Come on down. All right.
Whoa. Look at the audience. Take a bow.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, Mandalorians. I want to thank you very much for coming. This is a great panel. This really is the way. Really, thank you very much. You guys will all be here for the rest of the weekend, right? In the autograph hall and walking around. And anybody wants to try to see if they can stump Rory, he's really good. He knows his Star Wars trivia. He's
Until
pretty
someone
good.
asks me to ask a question, then I'm like, ah.
Well, that's just you get stage fright, you know.
I don't know about stage fright. It's just like, oh, what one do I ask?
That was a joke because you're an actor. Stage fright. All right. Thank you very much, guys, and thanks for bringing your helmets.
Yes.
Hey, it's cool. Brought a little.